Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 72. All right, welcome back, everybody. What's going on, Jay?
What's going on, buddy? Sorry, I'm a little close there. You got me waking myself up over there. What's going on?
I'm good. I actually just found out what was happening. You had your mic unmuted there, so I had to adjust it. So I think that's
Oh, okay. All right.
And welcome back once again to our friend here, Christina, aka Dracaris, aka Lady Christina, here today with us, who's been joining us for the entirety of the final season of Game of Thrones. Here, what's going on?
Not much. I'm super excited that we're here. It's taken a long time to get here, but it's all fun. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm really excited.
I thought that
Jay?
would help build into like the weight that we had to experience as Game of Thrones. and then it sped up at certain moments. And
Well, it kind of had me going because I'm like, can I watch this fucking last episode already? God's sakes, man! You guys made me wait for this last episode, so
Okay. No, sir.
Yes.
We have been ready to go. You're the one with
not this one.
scheduling,
I'm talking about the
demands.
last one, because we I'm talking about I can watch both of them at the same time.
Oh, that.
Let me clear my
It builds
throat.
the suspense. Aren't you glad we're doing it this way?
No, not this time. I just wanted to get it over with. And it was
I know,
fuck,
to
man.
be
At the end of the
totally
day-
transparent about it. It's been about a month since we recorded our last episode, guys. So we're like basically just stumbling to the finish line here with weeks to go of pre-recorded content for this show. We're trying to like bring it home. And between all three of our fucking schedules, we could not
I had
make
to
it
make a crunch
work
time
up
this
to this
week.
point. Yeah, I'm somewhat responsible too. But there was some frustration experienced the other day.
Fuck.
My end,
Hey,
I texted Christina yelling thinking it was JT, and then she's like, I think this was meant for JT, and I'm like, get your fucking schedule in order.
what did I, do you have that message still, Christine? Because it's probably
do.
reworded when it comes to me. He's probably
No, I-
fucking cocksucker.
No.
It
No.
wasn't that bad.
No, it was just like, she's got to get childcare and get it together. And I'm just like, obviously not for me, but about me.
I know that I felt like I made her feel bad. I was just like,
You know what?
no. Like,
Let's get really transparent. I was dealing with your husband too.
Let's
on
just
other
blame the
end.
baby. We'll just
No.
blame the baby and we'll call it a day. Like,
that's
just
the way. That's what parents do.
blame the kids.
Oh man.
No, but we finally made it, guys. We're here and really looking forward to talk about this. And also, again, I know JT was upset because I said on top of all that, the frustration of being able to schedule this episode, he's also having to wait for the finale. So, guys, we normally record a couple of these at a time. We watch a couple episodes at a time, but we made a special pact on the last episode that, you know what? Let's actually keep them separate. So we actually don't know on this recording going into the finale, at least for JT's sake,
I don't
what
no
is
fucking
going to
idea.
occur on the next episode. So we do have a date and we're going to schedule a follow up with this one a week or two from now to record the finale. So we're really looking forward to that one. And then guess what, guys? They just also announced the date for the House of the Dragon season 2. They've now confirmed it. It's going to be, what is it, June? Was it 13th, 17th? Hold on. I have it written down.
I think it's
June
22nd.
16th.
Oh,
June
16th.
16th.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say 16,
Sunday.
but I didn't want to be wrong. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's Father's Day actually
I was
this
gonna
year.
say,
So
is
that'll
it?
be
Oh, there you
Something
go.
that I knew something about that
Interesting.
day. It sounded familiar.
Yeah, so that's June 16th is the first episode back for season 2, which they have confirmed they're actually only doing 8 episodes this season instead of 10 that they did on the first season for story purposes, they're saying. So I don't know what the hell that
They're gonna
means,
start
but
pulling a fucking House of Dragons already.
so yeah, there's only 8 episodes of this season they've confirmed, and it starts on June 16th. So that means after we wrap up with Watching the Throne, we are going to be doing House of the Dragon season 1, guys, and then that recording is going to literally roll right into the premiere of season 2. Those recordings, so
It's gonna be fucking interesting. It's
yeah,
gonna be a wild ride. There's no fucking time for
yeah.
plan dates, plan this, plan that.
A-
Okay,
and
you better
then
be ready.
and then
Jake.
essentially after that, once those new episodes air live, we're gonna do recaps every week prior to the next episode every week. And we don't really have a date in mind. It'll kind of be like whatever day works for everybody in terms of scheduling. Whoever can join us for those episodes, yeah. So it's gonna be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to that kind of experience and talk about the show in real time since we've done all these episodes leading up to this now, right? So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to watch House of the Dragon again too, because I've never went back and rewatched it. Christina, our super fan here, has confirmed she already has before, so it's been
You've
2 years.
rewatched it already?
She has. She said so.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe because I was in the middle of this, I didn't go back to watching it.
Right.
So I mean, in that 2 years time that it came out, I was doing this, right? So
Yeah, we this has taken us just over a year to do this,
Yeah,
actually, the
so-
show. So yeah, it's
Has it really been just over? Oh yeah, you know what? It doesn't make sense.
we're making
That it's been that long?
Yeah, it's
to a recording.
yeah, we kind of tried to do about anywhere from 2 to 4 episodes a month, probably we've done.
Right.
When we got lucky, there was a couple times where we did 6 episodes a month, but
Yeah.
just because of scheduling, yeah. So we were able to just do it just under. Here we are, 72 episodes later, and one more episode to go, right? And the episode we're talking about today is The Bells, which is Game of Thrones season 8, episode 5, the second and last episode of the show. Okay, Jay, we need to get your opinion because this is your first time ever having watched the show. Of course, this is my first time rewatching it, and like I said, we got Christina in the super fan chair. What do you think of this?
Too quick. Too much stuff happening all at once for me.
Interesting.
Hmm,
Are you
okay.
underwhelmed? Because it sounds a bit like you're a little underwhelmed.
I'm
Yeah, he
not
seems like
underwhelmed.
he's falling asleep.
No,
That's
I'm
his
not-
normal state.
Yeah, I'm not underwhelmed. I'm thinking. I mean, I know now there's still one episode, right? So I know there's still stuff left into play. But I mean, there was a few surprises that you knew were coming along the way, whether they were going to be this episode, whether they were going to be next episode. But I didn't see. There's a few things I didn't see coming. But there's a few things I kind of had an inkling about. I mean, in a sense of, just thinking logically on what somebody would do in a situation like that, in a sense like that.
Who are you talking about specifically?
Yeah, go ahead. You can mention who. We can get
Uh,
into it more later, but
With Daenerys, maybe.
Okay.
Daenerys.
Yeah. there's
Okay.
That one that was a little bit interesting, and John maybe himself in a certain part in a reaction that I got from him.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm sure you've heard me mention this previous to this episode because I think it was an opinion shared by a lot of people. Do you feel like anybody was acting out of character suddenly in this episode? Because I know that there's some people that had thought that, let's say, about even the people you particularly mentioned there. Do you think that anything didn't ring true to what we know of these characters leading up to this point, or does everything make
No, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me.
Okay.
When I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, okay, if we're thinking about not maybe John and his bloodline, but maybe we're thinking about maybe the way he was raised in a
Mhm.
sense. I can understand certain things that he did.
Yeah.
With her and her bloodline, I could see
right?
why she did what she did
Right.
and kind of certain things that she reacted on.
It's a pretty good approach that you're taking. Your
Because she
thoughts on that,
fucking,
yeah.
Very
she,
mature
she
response
sat
because that
there
was
and thought about it. She sat there
Fine.
and thought about some things, and then was she gonna do it? Was she not gonna do it? Then at the end of the day, I was like, she's a Targaryen. She's gonna fucking do it. That
Very
bitch.
good on your part for saying that, because that's something I think that was very much overlooked at the time, was the fact that she is of Targaryen blood and what we know of the Targaryens and
But
hence the
then
Mad
the John
King
thing
and
threw
everything
me off,
else.
bro. It's
Right.
because it's another nurture over nature sort of situation.
Sure.
I find, and I use those for my killer content stuff.
That's right.
It always comes back to that in that sense because it really life
Boils down to that.
down to
Yeah.
like nurture over nature. Really, at the end of the day,
Yep.
I don't think. I mean, we're all individuals, but we choose a path, whether it's nurturing over nature,
Right.
right?
Whether it's ingrained in you or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you
If
learn
it's
if it's
ingrained
or
in
it's
your blood.
something that you can actually learn from. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
I watch that through people because I do. You guys think I'm sometimes just a stoner here, and I sit there and I can act like a stoner too, but I can also have a good opinion on stuff. I might, like I
You
said,
have
it might not
substance,
come out the right
JT. I know
way.
you
Yeah,
have substance.
it might not come out the right way. It might not be so understandable, but then it's understandable to the idiots, and that's what matters, right? Because you know what? Sometimes the idiots need to know, and I am one
There's
of them.
somebody for everybody, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point you're making about the whole Targaryen part of it,
It's
because
mature marijuana today.
I think some of the choices that some decision making that she made in this episode, I think some people thought, was unexpected on her part. You know what I mean? But I think that they
You
were.
guys were waiting for me to say something like, "Oh, she's on her fucking period. That's why she did what she did." That's what you guys were waiting for
No,
me.
I know. I just think.
Misogyny.
Okay, let's get into it with that comment. Then I don't know, Christina. What did you think of this revisiting this though? Any other
So
comments?
I'm guilty of being the person the
Yeah.
first time I watched it with everybody in the world up in arms about what the hell is going on. This is not what's supposed to happen. This is not who she is. This is not this, that, whatever. The second time I watched it, total game. My mind flipped. I watched it maybe like a year or so after it aired.
Yeah.
It totally changed because I watched the whole series from start to finish in a row, and watching it like that with no pauses, no anything, it was a total game changer. I changed my opinion, and that's when I went to you, Nico, and I said I totally have a different opinion,
Yeah.
and kind of spurred this, like, I want to do season 8 because
Yeah.
there was a lot of hate that season 8 got.
Yeah. Yours
And
included on some points,
mine
right?
included. I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Hashtag guilty. But no, totally different. And I watching it again now for the third time this season, for the third time or fourth time, whatever it is. Yeah, I totally like I agree with my second opinion now
Right.
more than my first.
It's funny because I've clicked on a thread of a post or something that I got on Facebook the other day, like some sort of new update on Game of Thrones, or sometimes stuff just comes up in my feed because maybe the things that we talk about in terms of Game of Thrones will show up on my phone just listening.
Yeah, Big Brother.
Yeah, right.
I've had to hide a lot. That's
Right.
probably why I stayed off social media for a while too.
I know, because things were starting to get spoiled, right?
Yeah.
But then it's funny though. This is what I was going to mention. I clicked on it, and of course you get into the toxic comment section of the internet, and there is still people complaining about certain aspects of the show that we've talked about while talking about this last season. I clicked on something, and it was everyone complaining about how easy the Night King was to kill, which is something we literally just talked about on the last episode, right? Where we kind of weren't really up in arms with it. But I remember at the time there was a lot of fucking complaining about that. And it still exists, is what I'm trying to say. Like on the internet amongst fans.
Right.
So how do you feel about it now? You've sat with it.
I thought about it. Yeah, I thought about it during watching this episode too. And I'm like,
right.
Why is this scene more harder than it was
right
to kill the Night King? Literally popped into my head.
I think for some people here's one thing I wouldn't have been upset by. I think they should have rearranged the final showdowns. Night King could have possibly have been the last thing that they dealt with instead of I know it's Game of Thrones though, but I just think I think in everyone's mind we had built up that this guy is such a bigger threat than everything happening right now that I think that's why it was unsatisfactory for some people. But now we're going back. But anyways, I just want to mention these opinions still exist out there. There is still a part of the fan base that is still upset by a lot of things that happen.
Yeah.
In this final
Season 8 was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. There's still so many things that lack compared to the rest of the series. But I mean, overall, what are they going to do? They had a limited time. They had 6 episodes to wrap this entire series up. They picked the worst directors to who had priorities elsewhere to wrap this up. It was just it was doomed to fail from the beginning. And I mean, I know we've talked about it also, George, the author of the books, he doesn't even have this book written. And people want to hate on this season all they want and blame the writers and everything, but they got his approval, so they have kind of a direction with where this was going. Now, is this how the book is going to be written? Who knows? But it's not totally out of left field where they came up with these wild ideas. This was an idea that he approved. He wouldn't have put his he wouldn't have allowed this to happen if
yeah, he's a producer on this show or whatever.
Right.
He
wouldn't have staked it, right? He wouldn't have staked his career on this if he didn't believe that this was an actual possibility. People are just mad because it
No.
didn't happen how they wanted. They didn't have a big showdown with the Night King and Jon Snow, right? They didn't have a big showdown with, you know, all these things. Like, it wasn't like that. But I don't know, like,
It still sounds. It's still basic. Excuse me. It still sounds like at the end of the day, a sort of love story in a sense. That's the way it's feeling like to me. I love like a love story played out in a weird way,
Mhm.
um, whether it be with certain people. So there is a type of format I think you would have to go and follow if you're also following that. Maybe that's the way they're trying to settle it out and they're closing it out. But um, the thing that I don't understand is, I mean, this one here from 20 years ago, if they would have finished it, excuse me, properly, I think, or because I don't know how they're finishing it, but if they would have finished it properly as opposed to the way you guys say it is, then it could have had a big run with other spin-offs with other different things from that point, and could have been doing this for the last 20 years instead of waiting till now to have a show like House of Dragons coming out, or spin-offs that they're talking about supposedly,
uh,
right? Which is
up
weird.
until this point
Mm.
in the show, I'm satisfied with it. The
That's what I
next
mean. I don't
episode,
know what's happening. Yeah, you
the
guys.
next episode,
Yeah,
the gloves are off.
you said change it. Yeah.
I
Okay,
have
yeah.
lots to say about the next episode
Yeah,
in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of like
Sure.
contradictions, this and that. But
Yeah.
anyways, we'll get there next.
So before we get into the episode, I did want to also mention that we did talk about going back and listen to the audio of the time that Christina originally came on Late Night Chat proper, our show, our flagship show here on the Late Night Chat Network, to talk about the finale, because that happened 5 years ago. That's kind of when we started this whole YouTube channel. Well, actually, it wasn't even a YouTube channel then; it was literally just audio podcast at that time. So if you guys are interested in checking that out and hearing our opinions, because we're going to go back and listen to them before we do the final episode. And Christina has said she might be embarrassed by some of the things she said at that point in time. She may sound like one of those infuriated fans, myself included, probably about some things, right? We'll see. But that is on episode 15 when she comes on. And then she's also on, I think, episode 16, which I think was the one where we had to re-record portion of the episode or re-record the episode. So I think majority of the Game of Thrones talk might happen on episode 15, but 15 and 16 is because that's when we used to chop up the episodes.
Yeah.
Is when Christina is on. If you go back and look at the archives, guys, in the playlist, which, yeah, again, 5 years ago we recorded these episodes, so that'll be really fun to revisit and then come back and talk about here when we do our final finale episode in a couple weeks.
I'd like
right?
to. Yeah,
So,
I'd like to hear what you guys. I'd like to hear what we sound like. Period.
yeah. Should
5 years.
please
ago.
excuse the audio on that one and Christina's comments. She's like, why are you telling people about this?
No, I was passionate.
Very.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that,
was
right? So,
If I'm
but
remembering the same. Yeah, if I'm remembering the same conversation, yeah, you were.
but the nice thing about this is we can actually argue our own points from 5 years ago, right?
I love arguing with myself. It's my favorite person to argue with.
You've been that all my life, man.
That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that little time capsule. So, okay, so let's get into it though. Let's get into the show proper here. Okay, so we open up on Dragonstone with Varys. He's writing letters pertaining to the truth about Jon Snow's heritage when one of his spies walks in and tells Varys that Daenerys has not eaten anything in days. Varys responds that they'll try again at supper, and she tells Varys that Daenerys' soldiers are constantly on alert. Varys assures her that the higher the risk, the greater the reward. She is sent back to the kitchen as Varys gets word of the arrival of Jon and his men. Now, what do you think of this opening there, Jay? Were you getting worried about Varys's, the fact that he's snitching on this whole stuff that he's, found out here about that he's a Targaryen? Were you afraid for his life at this point of the episode or last episode or what?
I mean, something's gonna happen, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, like
when you're one of those guys that knows too much and knows everything, and people know that and they know that you got a big mouth, you're a snitch, basically.
Yeah.
About things. Yeah, stuff ends up happening to you. Whether I thought it was now opening up into this show as that scene, yeah, I thought something was up. Like, it's gonna be sort of, there's gonna be a part that's gonna be centered around him. I can't say the whole episode, obviously.
I mean, obviously, I
Too
know what
left.
happened to him, but it was very telling revisiting it this episode with it opening up like that. I'm like, oh yeah, he's done. I
You
mean,
know, it kind of gave me a weird thing. Like, why are they opening up with him writing a letter?
very
being sneaky about it?
foreshadowing. Yeah, you're like, oh, that's his day is over. Varys famously, well, I think one of the actors that I've heard speak out about this more recently about how much of a mess the last season was and how upset he was. I think about how his character went out in this series, and I guess that because the focus wasn't really on him all so much here in the end, and he's somebody I watched a snippet of that I think had a
Well,
lot to say about this last season.
He's been around since the beginning, so I mean,
I think he kind of just commented on he felt like again the fact that they were rushing them out the door trying to finish this show up, right? So he was a little upset. He was one of the people that I've seen anyways that was kind of like
I mean, really, how much you rushing out the door? It's 2 episodes left, so you pretty much stayed to the end. You had a good bout. You're not the one that's going to survive the Royal Rumble, but you had a good bout, man.
I
You
like
had a
that.
good run.
Go ahead.
He was barely like, you know, part of this last season though. Like if you think back, like what impact did he have in this last season at all?
Yeah.
He was there. He was a background character. He maybe had like 5 lines the entire season.
They didn't
Like
need him.
it's
In
sorry?
that sense, they didn't really need him because everybody knew what was going. Everybody basically knew, except
Yeah, there's no such thing as
really
the need for the whisperer anymore, right? Like I get it, but it's like he's such a critical character this whole series, and
I
then
agree.
he just kind of gets like cast aside, like
Yep.
he's another Dothraki soldier or something. Like it doesn't matter. Like
But he didn't
that
even.
sucks.
He wasn't going to fight. There's not like he was going
It's
to be in
kinda-
a war. Or
It's
he's gonna
kind of
be
shitty when these characters though that we've had spend so much time with and like have like so many ins and outs to their you know what I mean? Like it's like, when they're literally just there as a plot point. Like he's literally just there right now to fucking try to snitch out the fact that like that's like to Christina's point, like that he hasn't done much this season. We did talk about that in previous episodes. He's literally just there in like even in when he's advised, he's not really even advising her. He's just around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so,
just
like
listening in.
so like
Smart.
so I think I can understand that being I get it, but it's just like because at this point a lot of people are just there because like that's what they're meant to be, like do the one thing they're meant to do in this finale, like leading up to the finale is that
because they're just trying to wrap it up so quickly that it's like, and you know what, maybe they did film a bunch of scenes because him and Tyrion have been friends for so long. It's like, and you could see Tyrion's stress, like trying to manage
He's still
Daenerys
stressing for his own life.
right, and it's just like, well, why isn't he like drowning in wine and looking for advice or just even just someone to talk to about Daenerys? Like it just, they probably did film all these scenes and then just cut them because you can only have like an hour and a half long show at the most, right? It's not a movie. It's not like, they don't have the airtime. So
I got opinions on Tyrion too, though, by the way. Like we can get to that though. Because again, you want to talk about someone who was my favorite character who had always had a lot to do. Even him, I feel like he doesn't really had that much to do in this final season, which is weird because I didn't really feel that the first time around, but rewatching it this time, like I miss again, this is where the story went. I miss all the days of him like adventuring, trying to survive constantly. Right now that he's kind of just situated with Daenerys, it's not that he doesn't have an important part to play, but it's just like there has been less for him to do, like unfortunately, right? Like you disagree?
I not that I totally disagree, but I think like he's have
still my favorite character
much
though.
to do. Like I think he's coming into his like acceptance phase, right? He knows that there's going to be a downfall, and he knows that the only thing he can do is try to save the people he can save. And I think he's understanding that he can't save this one. Like this one is like, it's not going to happen. Especially, he's starting to get worried about the Jon Daenerys relationship. Like, he's seeing that he's going to be put out very soon. So he's just trying to make the most of what he's got.
Yeah.
For the time he's got.
Well put. I just would have.
I
would have enjoyed more Tyrion. That's why I'm just saying he's my favorite character. So that's maybe me just putting my own opinions into it. And
the light in the light in his eyes, like the light that we've seen in with Tyrion this whole season, like or series, has been like totally wiped out. Like there's no,
Yeah.
funny quips. There's no nothing. It's
He's just
all
the hand to the queen now. That's all he is.
Well,
right now.
you want what just reminded me was what you said. You're like, usually he's fucking drinking or he's like, you know what I mean? He's whoring around. He hasn't done any of that kind of stuff, which I get.
making fun of people,
Yeah,
like
because of
something.
what he's doing now. I get it. Like that's his own personal choice. But you're right.
He's
The
trying to save
joy,
people now.
the joy is not there anymore. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that's actually that's a good observation. I didn't even realize that. It's true. He's not himself. No, he's not Tyrion.
Well,
Like,
but I
as
mean,
far as
who
I'm
really had to be themselves this last season? And
Right.
Jon
that,
Snow.
Everybody's had to concentrate and focus.
You know
Jon
nothing.
Snow.
All right, moving on. All right. When Jon arrives, he briefs Varys on the Northern Army's progress. Jon asks how Daenerys is doing, with Varys responding that Daenerys is refusing to eat or leave her chambers. Jon replies that Daenerys shouldn't be alone, and Varys admires that Jon is worried for her. When Jon asks Varys if he isn't worried as well, Varys says he's worried for them all and speaks of Daenerys' mental state. They say that when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin. Varys says that he knows not what side Daenerys' coin will land on, but that he knows which side Jon's will land on, implying that he wants Jon to take the Iron Throne over Daenerys. Jon vehemently refuses, to which Varys says that he has advised kings and rulers for many years and knows how Daenerys will end up. Given everything he has seen, Jon is still opposed to the idea, saying that Daenerys is his queen now and forever. And then you kind of see Tyrion creeping around, kind of observing this conversation in the background, I guess, during this moment.
There's a lot of observing this episode.
We
Yeah.
should have played a drinking game where every time Jon Snow says this season, "But she is my queen," you take a shot, because I
Well,
think he
or
says
bend the
that,
knee.
or
bend the knee would have been a good one, too.
she is my queen. I do
I'll
not
drink to
want
it
it.
now. I'll drink to
Yeah,
it now.
seriously. Let's cheers, everybody, because honestly,
It's true. Tyrion meets with Daenerys in Dragonstone's war room, where she has been self-isolated for days. Having become paranoid, she surmises to him that someone has betrayed her, and her hand confirms this. When Daenerys names the traitor Jon Snow, Tyrion, however, reveals that it was actually Varys, and Daenerys confirms that the Master of Whisperers knows the truth about Jon. She tells Tyrion that he told Varys, "You learned from Sansa," and she learned from Jon, though I begged him not to tell her, and thus feels Jon has betrayed her. Tyrion says he needs to be aware of this. Sorry, did you want to add something there? Or?
no. I
okay.
agree. Yes.
Okay. Tyrion says he needs to be aware of this information so that he and Varys can be prepared for anything Daenerys might face, but Daenerys is suspicious of Sansa's motives for telling Tyrion. The dwarf admits it was a mistake to tell Varys without Daenerys' permission, and Sansa told Tyrion because she trusts him. Daenerys responds, "She trusted you to spread secrets that could destroy your own queen, and you did not let her down." Tyrion asks for forgiveness, saying they want the better world she wants and that their intentions were good. Varys as much as anyone, but it doesn't matter now. And Daenerys replies, "No, it doesn't matter now." What do you think of this scene, Jay? It's a pretty heavy scene, right? It's yeah. I mean, it's kind of like she's come to this acceptance now. This has kind of gotten away from her. What? You got the smirk on your face. Why?
No.
These fucking women. What are you gonna say?
Bring it. I'm
I
watching.
haven't. No, I'm good. I'll have it when you're ready.
If you notice,
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
her appearance is totally like disheveled. She's like, her hair is loose. It's kind of like she's totally given up.
Turning into her father.
Yes.
But nobody sees that right then, or what?
Good
Right.
point.
That was a detail
Good
that
point. She's
that
going
was
mad.
a detail
She's
that
going mad.
totally went over my head in the
If you're
beginning.
isolated, trust
But
me.
if you look at it, if you look at her, like she looks disheveled, she looks unbecoming. Her hair is not in her traditional braids, and she's not in her uptight regalia. Like it's
First
like
thing
she's
I thought was she's depressed. Obviously, she lost her that what's her
her
name?
best
too.
friend,
Best
Missandei.
The paranoia is getting to
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
You don't eat, man. You know
Well,
what happens when you
I
don't
think
eat?
you hit the
Not
nail on the
everybody's like
head.
me.
See, this is a very telling scene for that reason. Like and I think something from this conversation. I mean, and the first person that she blames is Jon. She thinks Jon's the traitor, right?
wait,
He
wait,
is.
wait.
So look at the line of succession. If Jon
Yes.
didn't say anything, then Sansa wouldn't have said it to Tyrion. Tyrion wouldn't have told Varys,
But
and
she's
then
really
Varys
paranoid
wouldn't have
that
told
Jon
the
wants it.
kingdom.
You're right. Yes and
it
no,
is
though,
Jon.
in the sense that despite all that, he is not the one actively trying to
Take her.
or unless you're
Take
saying
her.
Doesn't
some
matter.
You're saying subconsciously though, you think that he just fucking put it out there because
No,
he knew it was
I
gonna
think
win?
like John. This is what John is wrong to a fault. Like there's a certain level of honor that yes you should uphold, and if you have this honor, great. But there's also the honor in secrecy, and there's some things that just shouldn't be said. And this is one of those things. If he really truly doesn't want the throne, why is he saying it? What difference does it make? Like I understand where she's coming
Mm.
from. Like why are you saying this to your sisters? If you truly don't want the throne, why? Why are you doing this? Why do you
Why is he
have to
saying
say
he
it?
doesn't want it?
He doesn't John doesn't want the throne. He keeps
Of
saying
course
he
he doesn't
doesn't
want
want
it.
it.
He doesn't want
But
it.
then
Yeah,
okay, if
so
you
but
don't
they don't
want it,
understand English,
if you don't want it,
or is that
why are
just being
you
a stubborn
talking about
woman?
it?
You really
Why
want
are
to
you
know?
talking about because you know that like you know that in that time
Yeah,
men hold more like power when it comes to successions of lineage
right.
than women do.
Okay,
And, you know, paired with the fact that like everyone loves John, like,
Mhm.
so he's an automatic shoe in guaranteed. So, like, I get it. Like, no, she was
So you're saying he's naive
completely
for thinking that him saying that to his family was gonna be there, like it was a stupid move on his part because
absolutely
knowing all this is like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
okay,
and
but
also
He could have
knowing,
prevented it.
they were also
also
raised
knowing,
by the same people. Okay, when he told her family, so
yeah,
you
but
think
look at
that
Sansa.
he had the
Sansa
trust in
hates
her?
Daenerys.
Yes, but you would think still you would have the trust for your brother and your sister.
She's
I know it doesn't.
she's
That
making a
really
pretty
doesn't
good point
happen.
in that sense. Yeah,
I
Mm,
know it doesn't
yeah.
happen in real
no,
life because I
like
mean I don't know whatever.
no, you know, and I'm so I okay, I don't even want to say this on the internet, but like,
So blame it on me. It's okay.
no, 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 no. I'm just saying, I'm like, as I'm just okay, I'm just gonna say it, and like, I'm just generalizing.
Yes.
Women like to talk. We like gossip. We like drama.
Sure.
Well,
Like,
I
you
could
know,
have told
not
you that.
everybody,
Blame that one on me. Seriously.
not everyone, but like, especially if like a woman doesn't like another woman and she
Yeah.
has something up on her,
Yeah.
100% you know that that's going
You
around.
go,
Oh
girl. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
cross my
coming.
heart, hope to die with my toes crossed underneath my shoes. Like no, no, no. Like this is like
You know
this
what's
is
funny though? I in one of my
Women be
notes,
crazy.
on one of my notes for this scene, I literally just wrote, "These guys love gossiping." I literally
This
wrote
whole
that.
show is about gossip,
I'm
man.
not even gonna lie. I'm including
The
not
guys.
just the women though in this scene. I mean, like just these people here in this scene. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
these guys love their fucking gossip. Yeah, it's true. The whole show
This
is
is
a
where
lot
it's
of
like a soap
gossiping.
opera.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I
and if
mean,
you look
listen.
at and like you know maybe this is like unintentional, but even the way that they stylized some of these characters, like the
Right.
Master of Whisperers is a eunuch.
Right.
You know, then you have like Lord Baelish, who is also a pretty effeminate man.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. There's a lot of archetype type,
So it's
yeah,
you know
type
like
stuff going on here. Yeah.
there's a lot of subtle, you know,
Yeah.
whatever
What
around
do you
here,
mean by
and like
he's a feminine man?
he's very effeminate. Like you
And
like
he's the one gossiping. That's what she's saying. He has no
Gossiping.
dick and
gossiping. He's
balls.
like
So like he's the one gossiping. And she's saying if you're gonna take the women gossip into account, then that's what she's saying.
So I
Like
take the women
I'm
gossip
talking about
into
just
account.
even
I
the way
love
his
it, man. I
personality,
love
right?
that.
He walks around, he's all prim and proper.
Yeah.
He doesn't fight. He gets other
Yeah.
people to do his dirty work for him. Like it's just very much like
I
they
don't
obviously
fight.
played on this like stereotype here.
Right.
But at the end of the day, John should never have opened his dirty bastard mouth. I'm kidding. He should have never said anything if he truly wanted to see Daenerys on the throne. He should never have said anything. Honor be damned. Like
He just wanted to be honest about his bloodline. I
family
think,
be
to them.
damned too. You're saying even because of the family aspect.
Because they're gonna
of
find
it.
out
it
about it
doesn't matter
eventually.
because hello, you have family drama. You have family drama. We
Yeah.
all have family drama.
Sure.
Just because you're family doesn't mean that there's a
Yeah.
reason why, you know, they say like, you know, blood isn't always thicker than water, you know,
Oh, I
or
know.
they say blood is thicker than water, but it's like it doesn't always mean that.
I think my brother and I, we take each other out for the throne. Fucking right.
Of
He's
course you would. Oh my God, of
Yeah.
course you would.
I'm already up here. I'm at the top of the line, but I don't get it. I'm gonna be the last one they think about. They already put me down to the bottom, so I'm gonna have to fight my way up, man.
Yeah, no, you're making some strong points. I'll give you that. I don't necessarily think I was blaming him for wholeheartedly for everything that has occurred, but he is at the start of it, right? I mean, he is him gossiping, and it all went down the line, right? And now it's caused this whole fucking shitstorm of an issue, somewhat. Yeah, absolutely, not somewhat, completely. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. You're right. But I guess we're not.
Guys like to gossip.
We're not.
I love it, man.
We're not meant to hate Jon Snow, though, right? Like
No,
he's the
no,
most
no.
noble character.
You men don't understand how to gossip. You know how many times I tell my husband, I'm like, oh, like, so, did so-and-so break up? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, what happened? I don't know. You didn't ask? No. Like, what? Or so-and-so this and that. He's like, okay, so what are the details? He's like, I don't know. We just had a couple beers and then we just went home. I'm like, you really have no information. Zero. No, there's no gossiping. You men don't know how to gossip. You don't know how to like talk.
Yes, I do. You do not know me. I can gossip for
days. You're a rare exception. You're the mouth of the South over
eunuch,
here.
Buddy.
You don't tell this guy anything. I'll tell you
I'm
that.
The eunuch. I'm the eunuch. I'm the fucking.
Unless you want it. Well, being a big mouth and a gossip are two different things.
Same shit, man.
Yes and no.
You know what? If you want people to know something, you tell JT.
It's very true.
If you don't
I'm
want
glad
to know
he's finally
admitting on the internet now.
You don't tell JT.
I'm glad you're finally admitting it. All right.
Anyways,
so moving on. Later that night, Varys is writing more letters when he hears the approach of guards. He immediately burns the letter he is currently writing as Grey Worm and his men come into his room, shackles in hand. Seeing this, Varys knows what is about to occur. Now think back. She warned him that this was going to happen. If she ever saw him, acting out of line, she said this. Like, I don't know. I think it was last season even. She did mention Varys, or maybe early this season. She did say to Varys like that this was going to happen if she ever caught him like fucking up. So here we go. Seeing this, he knows what is about to occur. Without resistance, he is taken to the shores of Dragonstone, where Daenerys, Jon, and Tyrion are waiting for him. Tyrion tells Varys that it was him who sold his treachery out to Daenerys. Varys understands and states that he hopes that he is wrong about everything he said about Daenerys. He bids one more farewell to Tyrion before Drogon burns him at Daenerys' command. Tyrion unhappily looks on while Jon looks at Daenerys in concern. Okay. One question, possibly an unanswerable question here. What did the letter say that he was burning? I mean, obviously he was going to talk about his heritage, right? But I mean, like, we never actually find this out, I don't think.
I tried to slow it down too on the app.
I think Varys was on Rampage writing all these letters like he wrote in the opening scene, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. He was trying to send them all to all the maesters, everybody in the Seven Kingdoms, to try to get everybody on board. Yeah. So he was trying to write these letters out as fast as he possibly could to try to get him out.
Okay.
Because
that's what I think.
Those big maesters don't really take people like Varys seriously, right? Because
no, they do. They trust him. They know that he has reliable sources.
But I mean, when they had that when Sam was in the library there, whatever we call it,
no, that was Jon that sent the White Walker thing.
Yeah.
That was not Varys.
No, I know. But if Varys writes something, you think that, I mean, those guys.
His opinion holds a lot of weight still amongst the people. Yeah,
and it can be easily confirmed.
It does.
It can be easily confirmed. So it wouldn't matter if they trusted his word or not. They can confirm it.
They can go.
I do have to make a comment, and I don't what I didn't understand and what I didn't like about this whole part was why Daenerys didn't also burn Tyrion alive at this point.
He fucked up a lot. It's true. He has fucked up way too many times. I agree with you in that sense. I didn't actually even think about that. But it's at the point now where she says next time you fuck up. But I feel like she said that 3 times to him at this point. So I agree.
Exactly. So it's why? Why is she holding out for him? But everybody else is
I think to your point, the only thing that probably saved him in this regard is that he literally pointed the finger at Varys. And that's probably the only reason he didn't get burned here. But you're right. Because he's fucked up 3-4 times now in terms of his decision making, which is rare for him because he's kind of had all the answers, it seems like, up to this point, and he's made every fucking wrong move when it comes to helping her out.
Well, I don't think he ultimately wants to do what she wants to do. I mean, yeah, I don't think ultimately he wants
again, she's
he obviously doesn't want to take out King's Landing.
She's told him though, continuously to challenge her like in terms of
Her
like
opinion.
yeah, she said she doesn't want yes men and blah 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 blah. Like that's so that makes sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's at least he's still been doing that. You're right.
Well,
He's
she wants to
active.
see,
He's
she wants to see
actively.
how smart he is,
Yeah.
and challenging her to certain things to see if she knows what she's doing.
I basically just wrote that although I was upset at like because I feel like Varys and Tyrion like were like good friends genuinely, I also think that if Varys thought that he was making the right decision and Tyrion was in his place, he would do the same thing to him. So I didn't feel bad. I think that's why Varys was just like, I understand, like, you know what I mean? Like when he's like, I'm glad he admitted like I'm the one that ratted you out, and he's like, okay, like he actually took this honestly like very well. Like I thought he was gonna go out crying like a bitch. No, seriously, like Varys just like went like, no, I accept this.
It's not much you can do.
Yeah, I know, but like, still, he kind of was just like, yeah, I accepted his destiny there, like
his fate. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of respected it because he's like, I hope I'm wrong. That's literally like his last words, and like this same episode, he's not wrong. Like he proves what he was saying in a sense, right? Like,
how many of those letters actually got sent out? If he sent a few of them in there, that's what I'd like to know. Right? Because I was wondering if it was
I don't know
one letter, if it was just a bunch.
He's probably been sending them out all day.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. He was in that room, right?
Yeah.
So.
Talk about a bait place to write that letter though, in the fucking candlelight. Like you could have went for a stroll somewhere.
No, but then you have to bring the ink, bro. You got to bring the fucking. It's a little bit if it's windy out. You got to unroll the fucking paper. It's a little harder.
I'm just saying, if anybody walks into that room and you're like in the dark writing.
But he played it smooth. He fucking covered it up with a thing, another piece of paper.
He was pretty slick. You're right. He was just like,
God, everything's yeah. He knows what he's doing.
All right. In the room later, Jon comes to see Daenerys. She asks him what she said would happen if Jon told his sister about her parentage, and Jon replies he doesn't want the crown, and this is what he said to Varys.
It's like bend the knee, right? You don't want the crown.
Daenerys says Sansa betrayed Jon's trust. She killed Varys as much as I did. This was a victory for her. Now she knows what happens when people hear the truth about you. Daenerys confides that the people of Westeros love Jon more than her, that all she has here is fear, not love. Jon tells Daenerys, I love you, and says she will always be his queen, regardless of how, there you go, I got to drink again, how he feels about her. Daenerys asks, is that all I am to you? Your queen? She and Jon start to kiss. However, Jon breaks off the kiss, still unable to get over their blood ties. In response, Daenerys accepts this, but solemnly says, all right, then, let it be fear. And him not having sex with her started this whole war. I just want to point this out right now. As soon as he turned her away there, lines were drawn in the sand. I'm serious. Lines were fucking drawn in the sand when this happened. She's like, all right, then, we're not banging, then let it be fear.
But he had
that was the final straw. No,
he had that inkling, and you can see that look. In
he's
his
like
eyes,
disgusted. He's like, you're my aunt.
Yeah, you're my aunt. That's fucked, bro. No way, dude.
No, because like as soon as she couldn't even like, she's like, all right, you don't love me clearly. Yeah,
he was the last piece. He was the last piece that she was like that held her together. And once he denied her, she was like, it's done.
Yeah, no, she literally right there and then. I don't think I noticed that the first time, like in this scene.
Yeah, you could see it. Her eyes, like it flipped something like ding, like it just like ding.
Yeah.
As soon as he rejected her, that was it. That was the final fucking straw.
Okay, that's the best part.
I don't want to say it's.
I love seeing that part because I love seeing the guy reject the girl, man. That's the best part.
Have you never rejected a woman?
Huh?
Have you never rejected a woman?
I can't say no. I'm worried now. It's been that long. If there's some weirdo that comes up to me, I don't know, man. I might be like into it. I might just say, what the fuck?
No, but like,
wrong question to ask. I'm so sorry.
Even if that is, even if it wasn't specifically because of that, I think it was just everything plus this was the tipping point. Like,
well,
you know what I mean? I'm not gonna say directly because of that.
Everything that just happened too, with the whole Varys thing and everything, she was like, yeah, maybe he is gonna try to make a move for it, you know? And be the king regardless.
Here's I wrote a note here. I said I think it's weird that here we are at the end, and Sansa is what really gets to her out of everybody. I kind of wrote that down
No,
here. I
wait,
said,
where
no,
is she? She's not in this episode.
I was a little surprised that, and I get it's because, you know, she's in the, like, she's, you know, I get it's because of
John can marry Sansa now. That's why.
Oh, good God.
It's not his real sister.
Yeah, like I get the family dynamic of it all, but
period.
I'm kind of still surprised that it's Sansa that really gets to her too, like amongst everything else going on, right? Like clearly.
Yeah, it's those redheads, man.
And then I wrote down here, John not down with incest. He could have saved a lot of people's lives. If he had sex with her, I think he could have saved a lot of these folks' lives. I'm just going to point that out.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, this is what I'm going back to saying. Like, this is like his honor versus,
right?
You know, like whatever. It's like he can't even play the game. Like,
no.
He doesn't know how to play the game because he's just so honest. Like, honest to a fault.
To a fault. Yes, exactly.
Like,
yeah, it's gonna be the death of him in the sense. Like, I don't know if it is, but
literally.
Like, but that's a problem. Some people just can't get
killed.
Some people just can't get out of their own way. No, that's the truth, and I think that's what
your own worst enemy. In the sense of saying too, right?
Yeah.
I know the feeling.
And then in the throne room of Dragonstone, Tyrion consults with Daenerys, the latter of whom is now ordering Grey Worm and the Unsullied to sack King's Landing. Tyrion is strongly against it, saying that the citizens of the city are not our enemy and are innocent, but Daenerys counters that the slaves in Meereen turned against their masters and liberated themselves. Tyrion responds that the small folk are afraid of Cersei because she will punish any rebellious acts. In response, Daenerys states that they are hostages in a tyrant's grip, and Tyrion begs her not to burn the city, or thousands of children will die. Daenerys counters that Cersei is using mercy as a weakness against them, but Cersei is wrong. Mercy is their strength. Her mercy for the future generation of Westeros, not those in the present. So she kind of pulls the only move she feels like she has left here as a result of everything, right? Which, again, at the time was being judged upon. And you brought up that's why I was surprised that this is your first time watching it and you had that opinion, because I feel like the whole Targaryen Mad King thing, which they are hitting us over the head with all fucking season, was lost on a lot of folks, right? Like, and maybe it's because they felt like that was too simple of an explanation that was in her all along. But realistically, look at everything that happened to her that drove her to this point, right?
Like, it would make anybody crazy in a sense.
That's what I mean. It actually makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I
didn't have proper doctor testing.
I'm with Christina. I think a lot differently about this time around in that sense, because I think I may have been part of that party that thought the same thing, where she was just like, really, she cared for these people. She wanted to be this person this whole time. Why the fuck would she go and do this? This seems so out of character. That's what everyone's opinion was.
It was out of character, but you know what?
But there's a reason
you have a
why.
Mental problem. If something's up wrong in here, it doesn't matter. Something can switch, man, and that's it. Once it switches, it changes your whole fucking personality, changes your whole way of looking at life, changes a lot of things, man. People always forget about that. If they forget about it in real life, they forget about it in a TV show, for fuck's sake.
You know, I also have to say, like, you know, people who have nothing and have nothing to lose are the most dangerous people. And, you know, that's why, you know, you don't pick a fight with a bum. Like, you know, like, don't pick a fight with a bum on the street, because they literally have nothing to lose. So it's like Daenerys has nothing to lose at this point. And that's what makes her, that fact befell on everybody also, like, because they're like, oh no, she's like a Targaryen, she's a queen. But think about it, she comes to Westeros, she loses 90% of her army fighting the Night King. Nobody likes her so far. She doesn't even have, like, you know, the people closest to her she can't even trust. Her lover she can't trust. Her hand she can't trust. Anybody around, she's totally alone. The one person that she could trust was beheaded in front of her. Like, totally alone. The other one, Ser Jorah, was killed fighting for her, defending her. Like, she has nobody. So it's like, you know, that also totally went right over my head. That's like, she has nobody.
When you put it when you put it like that, and you kind of it's undeniable what happened really in that sense, right? Yeah, it's kind of like, of course that was where it led, right? Yeah, no, it's true. You're
No,
right.
she looks at it like too. She tried it her way all this time about freeing the
Right. It's gotten
people,
her
and
nowhere.
gotten
It's
her
gotten
nowhere.
people hating her. It's gotten
You know, we never
fucking
know if in her head when she was sitting for those days, she was thinking, "Oh, maybe this is why my old man went crazy because nobody fucking, he tried and tried and tried, and you never know what they
No,
think
I
about.
think
If
he
they're
was
locked
just
in their
like a
chambers,
tyrant. I think
but
what's
you never
happening
know,
to
right?
her
We
is
don't know.
not the same
no.
that was with Ares's faults or whatever, right? They
Well,
weren't
we
the
don't know
same.
the whole story there yet,
We don't.
so
We'll see. In the last ditch effort to get through to Daenerys, Tyrion bargains one last time. He will go talk to Cersei and convince her to surrender, saying Cersei's followers will abandon her if they know the war is lost. Give them that chance. When he does, he will ring the bells of King's Landing, indicating the full unconditional surrender of Cersei and her army. Tyrion pleads with her not to attack unless he's done this deed. Daenerys reluctantly agrees. Before Tyrion leaves, she informs him so that Jaime was caught by her men trying to get past their lines before warning her hand that the next time he fails her, it will be his very last. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so there you go. It's fucking Jaime guy. Yeah.
seriously.
More on him soon. We'll get to that. All right. Sir Davos and his men are prepping for the siege outside King's Landing. When Jon and Tyrion arrive, Tyrion asks Davos if he can smuggle something specific for him. Then we get a scene with Arya and the Hounds saying that, like, they both want to go to King's Landing to kill Cersei. Or no, she wants to go there to kill Cersei. She sees the Hound, and he's going there for whatever reason. He doesn't really get into it, but as we see it play out, we know why he went there. But yeah, right now, he's kind of like, I'm going this way, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna come too. I'm gonna try to kill Cersei. So there's like a quick scene there, and then Tyrion, he gets past the guards surrounding Jaime's tent and enters to see his brother shackled to a post. Tyrion reveals that he smuggled the key to Jaime's shackles and unchains him, saying that he wants him to be the one to go to Cersei and convince her to surrender, saying it'll be much easier for him than it would be for Tyrion himself. Tyrion has arranged with Davos a boat for Jaime and Cersei to escape to Pentos. Jaime agrees, but argues that Daenerys that will kill Tyrion for this, but Tyrion replies he considers his life a fair exchange if it allows Daenerys to take the city without slaughtering thousands. He thanks Jaime for everything he has ever done for him before the two brothers share a tearful goodbye for the last time.
Oh yeah, Jaime saved him from his childhood. He said
that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
because he would have died in his eyes. He said, "I would have died already, but up to this point, if he didn't protect me, from like his sister and everything else, right? His dad, yeah,
everybody.
He was the only one.
Wah, wah, wah.
No, this was a nice scene. This was a nice scene.
You're crying about the girls. Like,
this was sad. Yeah, like you said,
poor little
he
people.
says, and I quote, "If it weren't for you, I never would have survived my childhood. You were the only one who didn't treat me like a monster."
Just because you and your husband are 4 feet tall doesn't mean you can't. Oh, I talked to the hand. Sorry.
No, this was sad. This was a bro moment. Sorry, Christina. Maybe you don't understand.
No, you don't understand. I didn't get it.
This is a bro moment. I liked it. It was sad. I like what he said though with those final words, right? He looked for he's shedding the tears, right? I'm not happy that fucking Jaime went there, and we're gonna get into that. And this is so for me. This is still to this day the one time while revisiting this series, the Jaime stuff that happens in this episode. If you can't already tell, I'm very fucking mad about. We'll get to it. I'm very fucking mad about this part. This has not changed for me. I'm still mad about this. Okay, it's the 1 point for me, anyways. The next morning, the united army of the Unsullied, Dothraki, and Northmen are waiting outside the walls of King's Landing. Tyrion instructs Jon to call off his men when they hear the bells ringing. Meanwhile, a select few citizens of the city have been crowded in the Red Keep to protect them from the coming invasion. Cersei overlooks the city and sees her plan coming to fruition. She intends to keep a vast swath of innocent small folk in the path of the Red Keep, seeing if Daenerys will truly burn the city and all the inhabitants with it. And I also wrote down here, you basically see a bunch of scenes of action basically in the city. You see Jaime with his hood on, thinking that no one knows it's him, which is ridiculous.
But he's unchained his gold hand. What the fuck was that?
You see Arya and the Hound coming into the city. So like now that you're seeing everybody arrive into King's Landing here.
Some are trying to get in, some are trying to leave.
Yeah.
This was fucking
weird. All the hustle and bustle of King's Landing in this scene, right? So just before the showdown.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
Then in Blackwater Bay, the Iron Fleet waits in silence when Daenerys, riding atop Drogon, ambushes them by diving directly out of the sun. The Ironborn fire their scorpions, but are unable to land a hit, for their target is far too fast for them. With his flames, Drogon all but destroys the Iron Fleet, including the Silence, though that fucker Euron Greyjoy is barely able to escape by jumping into the sea, this cocksucker.
Water saves everybody, man. Hey, apparently, you don't drown. Apparently, you can.
I have a big issue with this scene in particular. Well, not a big issue, but an issue because like 2 seasons prior, like they fucking took down Rhaegal with like
Yes.
one little arrow, bing, like like one little meh.
But she dodged everything. She was the one steering him.
I know, but the thing is, it's like now every ship
Yeah,
in the
no.
sea has these huge like crossbow dragon killer things, and not
Yeah.
one can
I
get
hear
him.
you.
Plus,
I-
all along the wall, all along everything, and he's just swinging by and flying
He had a
by.
couple- he didn't have that
Ah,
many hitting
Daenerys,
and going, but
I hear
he had a
you.
couple
on.
shot at him.
It's a nitpick
because
for
they did see
sure.
them. But remember, hey, weren't you looking in? Where the fuck are they? And then all of a sudden they come out of the sun like that. Like by that time
So-
they're really close. Eh?
So I will say, like, at least this time, like, it's true. She was actually prepared for that. She wasn't prepared for it last time, but you still got to put a little suspension of disbelief here. I think you're right. Like, there's no reason as to why they couldn't have pulled that off again. But I mean,
No, I think this dragon.
because everything had like all the ships, all the things along the wall, turrets along the wall, they all had these things. So not one
Yeah.
out of the 100 of ships that were in the sea could have got him. Not that I'm complaining about this,
Not
but
control
like I'm just like
computers.
really.
They
Yeah,
don't,
it's a
they don't
nitpick.
like lock on to targets like the new computer stuff does. So I mean, you have to kind of swing those big ass fucking things around
I know,
to try
but
to
Jay,
catch
like
him.
two
I don't know.
two episodes before,
They
like
never
they
even
maybe
had
had
them.
like
I know.
3 of these crossbow things going
Yes.
at once,
But have they
and they
shot them
took
off?
down a dragon.
Were they practicing? You know, have they tried to use those, or was this their bunch of their first times? You got to remember that, man. You got to think of all that stuff.
But both good points.
mean,
as the
Like, did they
armies,
prepare, or did they just build them fucking quick and put them together, and then hope they could steer them
like
so
I
they
said,
could catch them?
suspension of disbelief here. You have
There's
to.
a fucking
You
dragon's
got
flying,
it.
and it's
I
this way.
know.
You got to shoot it over here so that when it goes this way,
Can't believe you're logically
Fuck.
trying to come back.
I'm trying to explain it.
It wouldn't
It's
be
logic.
easy. It wouldn't be easy.
It wouldn't
It
be,
wouldn't
but
be easy. It wouldn't be
After
easy.
a little bit of training and flying around, you can do it. You know how to control your dragon.
As the armies wait at the gates for the bells to ring, Daenerys and Drogon suddenly burst through the gates in a fiery blast, scattering the Golden Company. Grey Worm and the united army immediately charge at the gate and take care of what remains of the Golden Company. In the mayhem, Grey Worm impales a fleeing Captain Strickland in the back with his spear, killing him.
That was nice. Eh? Boom.
All I wrote here in terms of notes was like, I'm not sure what Cersei paid for them, but she got ripped off.
No shit. They were scared the fuck.
The
up.
Golden Company. These guys get taken out like, like right
30
away.
seconds, like less than 30 seconds.
No, well, they just probably took whatever slaves or whatever, put fucking gold shield like fucking metal on
Yeah.
them. And
That's, what
it,
kind of
sent them out
cell
there.
swords are
Did you
these
see?
though that she
Yeah.
fucking hired? Like
My
it's kinda-
favorite costumes, like with the Golden Company, were the ones where they had the gold abs painted on.
yeah,
Did you notice those?
like 300 style. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I'm like, what is this? Like, I didn't notice that before, but they had like literally painted like squares.
Yes. No, I know it's true. Yeah, shout out to 300 there.
Fuck.
As the United Army takes to the street, because that's what they did. They painted on abs in that movie. For anyone who doesn't. As the United Army takes to the streets of King's Landing, taking out any and all enemy soldiers in their path, Daenerys and Drogon strafe the city walls, destroying the remaining scorpions. They then make their way to the gates of the innermost part of the city where Lannister soldiers are waiting. The two opposing armies come to an intense standstill until Daenerys perches Drogon atop one of the walls. Realizing their chances of winning are dwindling fast, the Lannister soldiers threw down their weapons and surrender. Tyrion and Jon are visibly relieved as the battle is seemingly done and the citizens of the city cry out for the bells to be rung. After a long amount of time passes, the bells are finally rung, signaling what appears to be the end of the sack of the city.
And this is where the real bloodline comes out. If you look at her face.
Yeah. So I wrote a couple things down here. I said there's also during this time, Qyburn gives Cersei a rundown of
Yeah.
And she's very fucking delusional that
She's
somehow they're
just
gonna
wanting
fucking
to
pull
stay there.
through.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that was all about. Like
The Red Keep is strong.
like a desperate last like delusion of some sort there. Yeah, like
Maybe she was
she's
waiting
not
for
used to
Jamie.
losing, right? She's not
Right.
used to like
No.
she's probably in shock too. Like, oh my god, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, like holy fuck, there's only one dragon. We were worried about 3 before. Yeah, we thought we had this.
so
But maybe she was ultimately waiting for Jamie. I told you this that love story.
So this is where she could have went about it a different way, but like you said, decisions were made here. Well, the bells keep ringing. Daenerys gazes at the Red Keep with a look of pure hatred in her eyes and becomes more and more unstable, eventually succumbing to the infamous Targaryen madness. Now, these are the notes off the internet, so there you go, folks. They're even referencing it.
And that's from my head.
Without uttering a single word, Daenerys takes Drogon to the skies and in a terrifying display of rage begins to burn the city, incinerating entire buildings and neighborhoods, killing both soldiers and innocent civilians alike. Outside the city, Tyrion is horrified by what he has just witnessed. And single-handedly, it kind of proves Varys's point right. It proves he was right. And I kind of wrote something here which says no matter if she wins or loses at this point, she's lost because what this win came essentially at what cost, right? It cost everything.
But even
everything she stood for, though.
Yeah.
Everything she stood for, like she threw it right out the fucking window by doing
But
this.
she lost
here.
respect of everybody too doing this. She didn't have any respect in the beginning, and then she just lost it all.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, that's what I'm
Anything that
saying. Like,
could
yeah,
try
she
to
has
change.
nothing. She has
Anything
nothing.
She has a dragon. Big fucking deal.
It does make a lot more sense this time around, though, because like, yeah, I just think it's not so much more me saying now, like, why would she do this suddenly? It doesn't seem like it's like of her character. Now it's like, she made that decision based off of, exactly everything that happened to her. And like, we kind of understand, I think I understand a little bit more as to why she's come to the madness. And yeah, she just threw it all out the window. A rash decision, right? It happens, right? It's just, shit.
Sometimes you do shit without thinking either, right?
Yeah.
But at that point, I think she knew what she was doing in her head.
Oh, absolutely, she knew.
She knew what she
Yeah,
was
of
doing.
course.
As long as she's going, I mean, if she was going, even if she was going crazy, she knew what she was doing.
Well, she said before when he turned her down, she's like, okay, we'll rule by fear then. This is how you fucking guys want to have me. He's like, I've tried. This is what you fucking respect. This is what you respond to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Right? Like, I mean, she made that decision, right? So following his queen's footsteps, Grey Worm. Oh, sorry, Christina, anything else on this part or any comments about it?
No.
No.
No. No.
But you like it this time more around, like you said.
I do. I totally get it. I totally get it. I see it. It's all.
Yeah.
It tracks.
Yeah. Following his queen's footsteps, Grey Worm, filled with vengeance and a lust for blood, takes his spear and throws it at the Lannister captain, killing him. With that, it becomes the call to arms as the Targaryen, Stark, and Arryn forces begin attacking and killing surrendered forces. In horror, Jon orders his own men back and tries to get them to stop fighting. Unfortunately, the Northmen are in no mood to be merciful towards House Lannister, the house who are almost single-handedly responsible for every single atrocity the North has ever suffered over the years. And here they state them. Here we go. Ned Stark's execution, the War of the Five Kings, the Red Wedding, the rule of Roose and Ramsay Fulton, and the refusal to support them in the fight against the dead. I mean, that's a lot of fucking, right? Like, come on now. Like, you can't disagree with them being like, fuck these guys
upset,
too. Yeah.
They want it. They're already there.
This is our chance. This is finally our chance. Like, fuck these guys. I get it. And they join their new allies in the slaughter. Yeah, I mean, listen, power corrupts all, man. That's what fucking happens here, right? They fucking, like, I'm sorry, but Grey Worm he was mad about Missandei. He had a reason to fucking lose it here. You've never seen fucking Grey Worm go this fucking crazy.
He also had orders, obviously, from Daenerys because he's the only one that she trusts at this point.
Yeah.
And so she probably said, no matter what happens, when I start burning or if I start whatever, I need you to take the lead. I need you to keep going.
Yeah, he did. And he did. He just fucking started the whole thing because they had dropped their swords too. right? And then they were just waiting and seeing what happened. Even John was in awe. Like he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Him and
Yeah.
Davos
Yeah.
met that look at each other and it was just like, seriously.
I do feel bad for the women and children that were killed, though. I feel sorry for the people that got caught in the
They
middle.
weren't real people, eh?
I know, but still, it kind of sucked. Like, you know, still, like to kind of have that happen to the characters in this show.
That's what happens in a war, buddy.
I know. Chaos erupts as the unsullied Northmen and Valemen alike charge into the innermost parts of the city, killing anyone, soldier or civilian, and raping women they come across. A horrified Jon is caught up in the disorder, deflecting attacks and shouting at his men to stop fighting, while Davos tries to usher people to safety. An increasingly fearful and alarmed Cersei looks on from the Red Keep in shock as the carnage continues and fire comes down from above. On the ground, Jon finds one of his own men grabbing an innocent woman and intervenes before the soldier could even rape her, completely blinded by rage and vengeance. What?
I'm sorry. You're in the middle of killing people, and she's
I
like,
know.
"Whoa, let me rape you!" Like,
I
"Whoa!"
know.
Like,
I know. It's
has
the
the
whole raping
time?
and pillaging. I'm
It's
actually
a war point. It's a
I-
thing for.
I'm
what it
actually
is.
surprised though that I didn't. I am surprised in this. Obviously, the raping and pillaging we've seen on the show and the barbarian type shit and stuff like that. But like, I'm surprised though. Like in this war, that was like I didn't even think these people were about that though. Like you know what I mean? Like the North. Like I honestly did.
But they're there. They're still
They're
people.
usually like the raping and the pillaging comes after the war is won.
Yeah, that too.
Like,
Yeah,
why in the middle of like
it's
Not
true.
always. I mean,
Sta-
it's just like life now. It's
doesn't
just
make
like
sense.
the
It was
world now.
so out of like I don't know. I was like I forgot about that scene. I'm just like, what is happening? Like,
Obviously, though, it's because they wanted to show Jon saved this person by not agreeing with what was going down there with the raping,
That's
right? I
where
mean,
he
they
that's
couldn't
shows
have
that
just
he's a
saved
more
her
honest
as he was
person.
about to stab her. Like, why did he? Anyways,
no, you're right,
anyways,
but it was a plot device for sure. I mean, that's why. Like, I think you're right. It did seem kind of out of place in the sense that yes, we know that went on, but yeah. On the ground, Jon finds one of his own men grabbing them and blah, blah, blah. Completely blinded by rage and vengeance, the soldier attacks Jon, who is forced to kill him. Meanwhile, in the air above, Daenerys begins destroying parts of the Red Keep, sending tons of debris falling to the ground below.
Great scenes, yeah, the crumpling and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the look on his face, though, I think there's some good acting on Jon's part too, though. I think because like the look of like horror, like because this is kind of literally everything he's fought against up to this point, right? That's like right, like it's kind of again, and now he's on the winning side, but like he's not down with the way anything's happening here. So, yeah. Around this time, Jaime sneaks around the cliffs on which the Red Keep is situated and encounters Euron, who survived his brush with death. Jaime urges Euron to help save Cersei, but the Ironborn King points out that the city and Cersei are lost. He and Jaime begin fighting, saying that he will personally deliver Jaime's severed head to Cersei so she can kiss it one last time.
Yeah, that's the best.
Euron is amazing. He's the
He should've
greatest.
probably done it too.
Normally, I love these fucking evil fuck characters. I can't with them. I don't know.
Come
He's just
on.
Ramsey and like
I know
Jaime,
you guys
Euron,
like no.
fuck, come on.
Well, we'll
I
get to-
like Euron,
we'll get
like
to
for
another
who
reason
he
why I
is.
don't like this fucking guy, but yes.
Why? Because
I wrote down this is why I hate Euron here. See, then you get a scene with Cersei crying and Qyburn telling them that they have to go to the hold fast. I think I wrote down. Yeah, so there's a quick scene there. And then you see Euron, he stabs Jaime multiple times. He's able to overpower him and he impales him through the stomach with his sword. He walks away severely injured as Euron, while smiling, utters, "I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister," before dying from his wounds, which was a pretty sick way to go out, I gotta say. But like, I hate that he stabbed the shit out of fucking Jaime here. Like, I was really upset by that. Like I said in previous episodes, this was my favorite character arc of the whole show up to this point. And I didn't say he was my favorite character. I just like how he started out as such a piece of garbage, almost redeemed himself, then fucking went and fucking did this in this episode. And with the Brienne situation that we talked about, we weren't fans of last episode. And I know we've broke it down to the point where like this is a person that feels like he's unredeemable and that he's a piece of garbage and he doesn't deserve anything better.
He said that, right?
But I get that. But I get that more now than I did the first time around. I still can't accept that he fucking was so close to maybe having some happiness in his fucking life, and he fucking threw himself right back into this bullshit and goes out like a bitch. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Nah, it's the worst. It's the worst. Okay. Meanwhile, Arya, and you guys can rebuttal me when we get to that part. I don't care. You can fucking argue with me. Meanwhile, Arya and the Hounds sneak into the Red Keep and reach Maegor's holdfast. The walls crumbling around them. Sandor urges Arya to go home, arguing that Cersei is good as dead, but Arya insists that she is going to kill Cersei. Before she continues on, Sandor grabs her by the arm and urges her to choose life over vengeance, saying that he himself has been seeking revenge his entire life and tells Arya to be better than someone like him, a living embodiment of the vengeance she is seeking and what it will do to her. When Arya tries to continue onward, Sandor warns her that if she goes with him, she'll also die. As he goes to deal with his brother, Arya calls him by his name for the first time and thanks him before they both go their separate ways. This is a great scene. I really like this fucking scene. Yeah, I just like that. Once again, he saved her. Like he was just like, he's like, look at me, like I'm a dead man. Like he's like, don't fucking do it, right?
Sticking around, you're gonna be the same,
right?
I like that she called him by his like first name because that humanizes him. Because she's always called him like the Hound or just whatever she's called him, but like it humanized him. So she finally it's full circle. Like it's nice.
Yes. Yeah, I said here, yeah, we've really come a long way with Sandor and these two's relationship. Arya realizes that she can live to see another day this way and that she will be needed. Like he's basically like, yeah, don't do that. Like I have nothing to live for, and I'm all like, look where this whole life has gotten me. And he knew. He was like, final showdown with my brother. That's it. Like he's like, I'm not coming back from this. Do not come with me. Right? Like I like that he saved her in this scene. Like that.
She would have been done. She would have trying to keep going on. Everything would have crumpled in on them and fucking.
It's just nice that they still stuck by the fact that she has a really good head on her shoulder above all else. You know what I mean? Like she just didn't just make this brash decision suddenly.
Yeah, no, she's not impulsive. Like she assesses what's happening.
And also it actually is a sign of maturity. If you look at where she starts off, like when she's young and she has this quest for vengeance because of everything that's happened to her in her life. Obviously, it would make sense at that time. But as you grow older, you learn to let things go sometimes, and you kind of learn from your. That's what I mean. Like it kind of is like also. I never looked at it that way. It's kind of cool that she actually came to this realization with him of all people. Kind of like you said, the full circle moment of it all, right? Like yeah, I really like that.
It does show the maturity, because if you think about it, like in the beginning she was so feisty and fiery and just wanted to jump and fight at any opportunity she could, but here she's picking her battles. Like she's like, okay, no, I can't do this. And
and she realizes that she's needed, and like you said, like before she was game for going off and having these adventures, and she did to a certain degree, right? She did go off and kill people that she wanted to as a result of the revenge thing. She kind of did all that, but I think she knows now better than and not to become like him. That was the whole point of what he was trying to make, right? Like this is doomed to existence, right? Having convinced Cersei that all is lost, Qyburn evacuates Cersei and her Queen's Guard from the Red Keep, but they come across Sandor before they reach Maegor's holdfast. The Hound effortlessly dispatches the Queen's Guard before standing face to face with his brother. He just crushes his fucking head or something, doesn't he? Like against the rock or something, like Qyburn.
One shot. The blood splats.
Cersei orders Gregor to protect her when the Mountain defies her since he wanted to fight his brother. Qyburn repeats the order, causing the Mountain to smash his head against the wall, killing Qyburn. Cersei flees as the Clegane brothers stare each other down. Meanwhile, Arya continues to escape through King's Landing, nearly being trampled by civilians who are trying to escape Daenerys' wrath. I have a question here for JT. I wrote down. JT, what did you think of his face reveal here?
It looks like one of these guys over here. It was fucking
like a Batman villain.
No, I don't know. I there was a feeling that it kind of looks like, and I never remembered too. It was weird. He's just got this weird, I don't know, fat zombie face. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. It was a weird looking.
Yeah. I just thought, I didn't know if you. Massive, man, it's pretty cool, the look of him. Christina, what did you think the first time you seen him?
Honestly, well, like the first time I saw him, I was maybe like, okay, yeah, he's one ugly dude, but I think I was expecting him to be more disfigured and more monstrous.
Yes.
Because like the way that he looked through the helmet and everything, he just looked so monstrous. But
right.
And I think even Sandor even makes a comment when he sees him, like when they were having their little
Yeah.
get
You're
together
fine.
of all
Yeah.
the leaders. He's like, "You're even uglier than I remember," or whatever. Like he says something like that.
You're
So
uglier than me
brotherly.
now. I think he was saying because of his
Yeah.
bird, right? He's like, you're fucking uglier than me now, or something like that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I
He's
was
better looking
expecting him
one.
to look maybe more monstrous, but I mean, he's pretty nasty looking with his purple skin and
Mhm.
He looks like a dead guy, just
I-
pumped up on fucking juice.
I
yeah,
remember,
something.
I remember that I wrote down here because I'm like, this badass final showdown between these two was like everything to me when this happened the first time
It's a
around.
good fight. man.
Yeah, it was, but like I was so pumped for this fucking fight. Like it was just because it was they hinted, they teased us with this for so fucking long, this showdown between these two, and also like the fire's going out overhead, like he's scared of the fucking fire, right? He doesn't give a fuck. He's he's fighting this guy to his death, right? Like it's awesome. Like I thought this was really
Stones are
cool.
crumbling, like
They're falling and fighting while fucking falling. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Yeah,
and
it's
then
great.
Sandor is like stabbing him and he's not going anywhere. He's just he's like holding the sword in and pulling it out.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
That
like
was crazy. Yeah, he just pulled the fucking sword out. He stabbed him a bunch of times after, and he's
Yeah.
like, I can't win. I'm not gonna win. So,
And I like
check
it.
us both out.
I like his brother is the only thing that could get through to him too in that state, because like obviously he would listen to Cersei or Qyburn and them prior to that, but as soon as he fucking locked eyes with him, it was go time. Like he just fucking crushed that guy's head. That's why Cersei ran away. She's like, oh fuck, I lost control of this guy. He just runs away. Right? Can you imagine? I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So Sansa. There you go. All right.
You probably get to see it next episode, eh?
No, he's dead, man. He's gone. As Sandor attacks his brother, which has little effect, he knocks Gregor's helmet off his head, revealing his face, causing Sandor to mock him. Provoked, Gregor unsheathes his sword and in his fury begins to madly fight his brother. Then Cersei herself is alone in the Red Keep when she sees Jaime bloodied and badly wounded following his fight with Euron. So these are a bunch of cutscenes now. They're kind of jumping around pretty quick at this point. Then Sandor, he proves to be a better fighter and manages to drive his sword into Gregor's chest, though it does not kill him in this scene. And then, meanwhile, Arya regains consciousness after she was left incapacitated by a concussive blast. Okay, that happens. Sorry, Arya is fleeing through the city as it comes down. Sorry, that's the next scene with Arya. So that happens. Again, a lot of cutscenes here. After pulling the sword out and discarding most of his armor, Gregor beats down his brother and lifts him up against the wall, putting him in a chokehold. The Hound tries to free himself by stabbing him several times with the knife, which proves to be ineffective. Just as Gregor is about to gouge out his brother's eyes, his classic move.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Sandor stabs his brother.
Try that one day.
Sandor stabs his brother clean in the left eye. Even this does not stop him, which is kind of fucked because it goes through his fucking brain. Like he's just like
He's not alive, dude. Something's wrong with him.
no, he's
Somehow
undead. Yeah, he's like I don't know what the
got-
hell's keeping him
No,
alive.
but I gotta give hands up to the makeup artists
Yes.
on this
yeah,
show,
for who did
because
this.
like Sandor's eyes, like after they were like blackened out, like they were so bruised and bloody already,
Mhm.
like immediate. Oh man, like that was just so like because you could see oh my god, crazy.
It was,
Great.
yeah, it did look pretty
Loved
fucking
it.
cool. And even the view of seeing it come through the other end of his skull, like after he stabbed him in the fucking eye, was pretty cool. Yeah, for sure. And again, the starting of the like you start to hear and see like the gouging of
crunch.
the fucking eyes. Yeah, oh,
Just
yeah, it
pushing that
skeeves me
harder.
out. Yeah, I'm just Jesus Christ.
Honestly, this like that. Like what he did to Oberyn and like what
Yeah.
he did again
Brutal.
to Sandor is like that move like haunts me
There's a lot of
almost as
nerves.
much as like Ed Norton in
Yes. Oh my god, I was
Just
literally gonna say that. I was
those
literally gonna
two?
say in American History X. Yes.
yeah,
That
the
one's
bite.
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. Though.
What's it called? The
the
biting
sidewalk stomp.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
it called? There's a word for
I
it.
don't know.
Smiley, like or whatever. Like when you fucking that's
That's
there's-
I don't even know why I'm talking about it, but like
Yeah.
those two
no,
things.
I was literally curb stomp. I was literally gonna
curb
fucking.
stomp.
I literally was gonna say the same fucking thing. That's crazy. Yeah, that's like all time. Like skeeves you out. Fucking like imagining what would happen. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah. Okay, so even this does not stop him, who begins
Oh, you
pulling
die, man.
pulling
You
the knife
fucking
from his
think it'll
eye.
go right into your jaw.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Knowing that none of his attacks will truly kill his brother, Sandor knows what he must do. Mustering up enough courage to face his fears, he tackles him, shoving them both through the badly damaged wall behind, sending them plummeting hundreds of feet into the fiery remains of the city. I just wrote here that I wish their history was explored more. Like, I wish we kind of knew more about these guys prior to all this shit. Like, I think it would have meant even more. As much as great of a scene as this was, I still wish that he was the type of character that whenever his past came up and like why he was fucked up and the shit that happened to him, this wasn't ever really a show where they're like, let's flash back to these guys, like, and find out why this is, right? So I just wish that if it was like another character, we probably would have known more about what went into this, like their relationship, like how it was so horrible. I think we got very little behind the scenes kind of descriptions of that along the way. We did somewhat, but like I just think that would have been a little bit, would have meant a little bit more. Or if we even got to know like the Mountain more so as like an actual character other than just a brute fucking force. You know what I mean? Like he didn't really talk ever. Like he was just like a fucking monster.
He came just to do the horse thing, the fighting in the beginning. Sorry, in the beginning.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they gave just enough. I mean, if you have a brother and you are a brother, I think you understand the like relationship between brothers. And then there was always this like anger that Sandor had for him for Gregor, or the Hound had for the Mountain, for the injury that he did to, you know what I mean? And like I think he even said it was like he was just he thought it was a game. Like he maybe even alludes to his brother, like the Mountain, being a little cuckoo in the head,
right?
Because it's like, who could literally, like, if you're playing your kid, you're playing, but you literally think it's funny to press your brother's face into fire,
Right.
like that's kind of like you're a little
demented.
like, you know, a couple screws loose, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like all there really is to it. I don't know, but you're right. Like, you know, like there probably is more. And you know, where has the Mountain been hiding out all this time? Like where, like what's going on? Like what is his story? But I don't know. I guess it's like.
And I say that agreeing with you, I'm completely satisfied with what we got and like every like the lead up and the final showdown and everything like that. I just think like I was so interested by this aspect between these two characters, the hatred for one another. I wish that we did know even more. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's just me being greedy. I guess.
Sometimes there's not really there's
that's
a
true.
hatred in between this, like two people like that, especially brothers. There's not really anything in between. It's usually like another family issue somewhere, but that's really like, what kind of storyline does that make? For?
Yeah,
right?
you make a good point.
So, you know, they keep it in suspense, make you think, make you wonder.
And sometimes it's not, you don't want to know everything, right? Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
You couldn't finish off fucking 5 storylines, let alone another one, right? Like, in a sense.
Well, that's, you know,
sorry, Nate, just to keep this up, like, I was just thinking, just doing a quick scan of all the characters, I think, like, you know, we did get an adequate background for all the secondary characters except for these two. Like we got an adequate, you know, background story for Peter Baelish. We got an adequate background story for Varys. We got an adequate background story for like pretty much all the characters, minus.
You understood clearly why they're the way they are, most of those people. You know what I mean? What happened to them, right? Like, that's what I mean. I think this could have been explored more. I think you're right, what you're saying. That's what I mean. That's kind of why I felt that way, right? But you probably
have to go back to when they're childhood, like, in a sense.
But I also think it's the character. Like the Hound wasn't one to talk about shit like that. You know what I mean? So I get
it was emotional.
Right.
His brother couldn't.
And then Davos and Jon are reeling at the carnage and fire surrounding them as the wildfire explodes while Daenerys and Drogon burn up the city. Davos and Jon share a look, and Jon orders his forces to fall back.
That's the look that Jon had in him. He had the look of like what his old man, like would have been Ned Stark,
right?
You know, like kind of more of a caring, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, really, what did I make the wrong decision?
Well, clearly he and Davos rush people out of the city as fire rains down upon them from above. And the decision was what Christina mentioned earlier, was telling it's right. He created, it's true. Actually, now I see it even more. So he created the fucking, what led to all this in that sense. He did. Right. So anyways,
he just kept his goddamn mouth shut. She wouldn't have burned the city.
If crazy's in you, it's gonna be in you forever. You know that, right?
Absolutely, I'm Italian. I totally understand. But like,
So,
you know,
I mean,
no, like
it's part of your DNA. You're fucked. Seriously. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm just
Meanwhile,
being honest.
Arya regains consciousness after she was left incapacitated by a concussive blast. She manages to get into a building full of women and children and
See?
convinces them to keep moving.
This is another Stark thing, but this is what I'm trying to relate to. Is this part with Arya still in the middle of everything, trying to save people?
Right.
That's a Stark thing. That's what John was raised around, whether he be a Targaryen or not.
Lest they perish where they stand. No, good point. They begin to escape, but most of them, save a mother and her young daughter, are killed by the roving Dothraki. The mother collapses and tells Arya to take her daughter to safety. Arya grabs the child and begins to run, but the girl refuses to leave her mother and goes to her side just as Daenerys and Drogon swoop down one last time and unleashing another torrent of fire upon the innocent civilians.
See, it just lit him up, man, like a big barbecue.
Okay, here we go.
You know, that's a powerful fucking fire, man.
Yes. And the graphics were done well here.
Yeah,
You gotta say.
I like
yeah,
the
yeah.
crumbling buildings, man.
Yeah.
That was really done.
It was
nicely.
done well. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So the two of them, Jaime and Cersei, go deep into the lower chambers of the Red
Go
Keep,
deep.
where Tyrion had told Jaime to go, where they would be waiting. They would have a boat waiting for them on the beach to take them away from the city. Unfortunately, however, they find that their path has been blocked by rubble. A frightened Cersei begins to cry in fear, saying that she does not want to die. Jaime tells her not to look at the crumbling keep, saying, "Look at me, just look at me. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Only us." Hearing the weakened structure above them caving in, the twins embrace for the last time as the ceiling caves in, crushing them.
Hey, I told you they were in love with each other, man. Let them be.
You're satisfied with this?
Let them be. Yeah.
Are you satisfied with this ending?
A love
No,
story.
are you satisfied for
Yes.
this ending with
Yes.
for two fucking huge characters
Well,
of this series? You're satisfied with
maybe
this
'cause-
ending?
She was gonna die
No.
regardless, bro. Who do you think she was gonna sit there and watch her hang? You're gonna sit there and watch her hang? They had one episode they have left, bro. What are you gonna do with that?
I hate this fucking scene. I fucking hate this.
Okay,
It's the
that was
biggest
the best
mistake.
way they can do it.
No.
That was.
She should not have died by a fucking rock. She deserved to fucking die, if not by Daenerys' hand, someone else for fuck's sakes. Maybe even Jaime for fuck's sakes.
Maybe if we had
It
another
should have
season.
not have died by a fucking rock. Is the biggest amount of bullshit.
That's what
and
happens when you
They
rush.
stole.
You really are.
I am. I
Passionate.
hate this. I hate this fucking scene. No, this is me going
No,
off.
I know.
Still to this
Hey,
day.
I let you go ahead.
I swear to you, if you listen back to that recording of us, I swear I probably said the same thing about this then. This is the one thing that really fucking bugged me about the show. I really fucking hated this because they stole the fucking, like, her death from us. This is a fucking character that she should have got killed so fucking badly. Like, you telling me she gets crushed by a rock and that, it's just such bullshit. Like, they stole that from us as fucking like viewers, like almost like it is not a redeeming fucking death. Like all the things she did to people, all the fucking people that could have got her back for
I
that.
understand.
It's so annoying. Like and not only that, Jaime again. They wouldn't give us the redemption of that character. Okay, his fault maybe was his love for her. I can somewhat accept that. And the fact that again he couldn't fucking like the whole thing I said about him like not being able to accept that he can fucking have a happy ending for himself and putting him in this position. Sure. I'm not surprised he went because he was that madly in love with her, whatever. But like, again, like it shouldn't have fucking happened this way, man. It's just so more so even.
What did you want to see? Them have a fucking family and a kid
No.
together?
No. You know what I wanted to see? I'll tell you what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Arya, use her like,
That would've been more cool, yeah.
maskless, like I'm the faceless man, like whatever. Put on a Jaime face, go up to Cersei and be like, "Come with me, let us go," and then stab her in the belly where her baby is, because that's where she lives and loves the most. And then have Jaime come in right in that moment and be like, "Oh my God." And then he's already dying from his injuries. And then Cersei, like Arya reveals herself and Cersei goes down like, "Oh my God." Like,
yeah.
I'm blah, blah, blah. And then, it's redemption for all.
And then you know what? Then Jaime would still be fucking crushed because she would be dead. He was not able to save her. He'd be fucked up after that.
Or he dies himself.
Oh, he
Like,
also dies in that scenario.
well,
Okay, yeah. But
because
or he dies,
was
or he,
already
right.
He was already stabbed.
maybe they could
Right.
he comes to her,
You're right.
and
He
while
wasn't
they're
coming
both
back from
bleeding
that.
out,
Yeah.
they
He
could
wasn't.
like be clutched in each other's arms, and then Arya can escape.
I mean,
Like,
the whole redemption of his character, I was initially really pissed that they did that to his character. I'm a little bit more accepting of it now, and I'm even more so pissed about the Cersei fucking fact that they killed her that way. And not only that, Jay, like this is a sort of happiness for them to be together in death, which they did not deserve at all, these fucking characters, and this show is not like that at all. Like there's no like even with these characters, like there's no redeeming, like like you know what I mean. There's no happy endings for a lot of these fucking characters, yet they gave them this moment getting crushed by a fucking rock. It's just so fucking lame. It's such a lame fucking way to go out for these characters. And like really, like her saying like, oh, like her saying like whether she's like that she does not want to die. Give me a fucking break. Do you know everything this woman did? And then she's crying that she doesn't want to die.
But who does?
No, but like it's such a fucking heel turn. It's such a switch of this character. Like this is uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to die. Really? Like this, you had every fucking moment not to do this.
Yeah,
How
the
many
only
chances did she
So
have?
in her last moment, what do you think she's gonna say? I want to die? No, obviously.
the only
she didn't wanna die.
redeeming the
Her
only
baby.
true quality in this moment for Cersei and the whatever is when she says, I want my child to live, because the whole time she was lived for her children, and that was the only thing that was true to her character.
Shouldn't have
in
did
this
any of this
scene.
then. You
But
had
I
that
know,
fucking
I know,
chance.
I agree with
Yeah.
you, Nico. I agree with
Yeah.
you,
No,
but
I
like
know, I'm sorry.
the only
I'm just
thing,
yelling.
the only thing that was so in character for her was her
Yes.
pleading,
Yes.
I want my
yes.
child to live. That was the only thing. Everything else was like, what is she talking about? Like, she's been this evil bitch from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah, and she doesn't deserve Jamie at this point.
That
She
no.
fucking doesn't deserve him at this point. It's just
Well, that's his fucking problem. He's
no,
the one
but
who went
why
back.
does she get what she wants? Why does
But
she
never-
get him coming back to save her and dying like that?
Ask
Like
him.
it's such.
She doesn't
He
even-
went back.
The point is, JT, also, like, they
back.
don't deserve this death. She doesn't deserve to just get crushed by Rumble and like that's it. Like, she
Okay, in 2
deserves
episodes, this is the only death you're
actual
gonna get from her.
vengeance.
They stole that from. I feel so robbed of this fucking death. And maybe that's the point of it. They're like, fuck, sorry, shit happens. Like that's life. But like, I just hate it. This is like a Sopranos-esque, like kind of like for me. Like, and listen, I've grown to like that. I mean, but like in terms of like the impact it made for folks, I hated this. I hated this moment. Christina, you sounds like you agree mostly with me.
I
though,
don't,
right,
yeah,
on
I
that,
don't like this moment either. I think, yeah, I agree with Nico. I agree with you, man. 100%.
Yeah.
There's probably 2 or 3 different ways that they could have killed her and satisfied everybody while still keeping the same arc. Like, oh, they're
Yes.
dying together. They love each other. Okay, great. They're together.
Yes.
But they could have done it.
Even what you just
2 or
said,
3
that actually
different
works
ways.
for me. That works for me. What you just said, the Arya thing with him bleeding out on the way
Because
to help her.
Remember when,
that works
when
beautifully.
we were filming season 5, and I was like, what the fuck's the point about her learning how to be a faceless man or whatever? Like,
Right.
what the hell does any of that? Think about it, Jay. What the hell does any of that have anything to do with what Arya's ever done?
It just was not a satisfying conclusion for this character. You liked
What
it.
was
though,
the
it sounds
whole
like you're okay
point?
with it.
Yeah, like, what was the whole point? I'm like, they could have tied that back in, and at least she did it once with Walder Frey. Great, fantastic, right? But that was the one time that she did it. One time.
They should have kept doing the seasons. They didn't have enough time. What
Oh
are you
my
gonna do? I
What do you mean?
I wasn't gonna expect right now watching something. I wasn't gonna expect that I wasn't expecting them to get out of there. I wasn't expecting
just don't
anybody
know.
at that point to come kill
I just
them.
don't know how you can find that as be a satisfying conclusion of these characters. Like these are the
It doesn't bother me as much. as
Cersei's
you
one of the
guys.
best fucking characters on the show, and this was a satisfying death for a character.
There's
of
a
her
lot
caliber.
of deaths that aren't satisfying in this. I mean, they're
No, not to this degree. This is
Not
this
for
takes
the
a cake.
villains. Joffrey's death point, like,
Right.
great,
okay,
fantastic.
yeah, no, I get it.
Ramsay Bolton, fantastic.
She
You know?
deserved better than this. Her character deserved better death than this. This is not deserved of a character. Forget the fact if you think she's evil or whatever. She didn't. If she's gonna die, this was not a death deserved of this character. She deserved better than this. Really,
She
this is
deserved
not
a better
memorable-
death.
She did. She did. This is not like, because some actors, they love that shit. Like Sean Bean, the fucking guy, Ned Stark, who died in the first season. He died. There's a whole montage if you go on YouTube. This guy dies in like everything he's ever been in, Lord of the Rings and fucking this. Like he's like a man that loves a good death. Like he's just like, what?
Mhm.
I die in this, sign me up. Like seriously, like he's like, no, it's a great character thing. People remember that shit. That's
He's
people
like,
remember.
I die in part 1. Excellent. Let me do it. You know, sign me up.
No, it's true though, but like
Movie
people remember
1,
that shit.
season
Actors love that
1.
shit. People
Yeah.
remember the death, like the big things like this, like going out like this.
I didn't bother me. They died.
When Leo
As long as
died
they
in the-
died. I knew she died.
When Leo
anyways,
died
man,
in The
so-
Departed, no one fucking seen that was no one knew that was gonna happen when he died. It was the fucking craziest shit that ever happened. You know, that's what everyone talks about in that movie. I'm just saying, this was bullshit. I got killed by a fucking rock. Sorry, I know it's a big boulder, but
Yeah, it
still.
was fucking splattered them right on their fucking painting or whatever they had on the ground.
Okay,
I
I'm done
just-
my rant. I'm sorry.
I
Okay,
didn't,
go ahead.
I
Go
didn't
ahead.
find it so. I mean, like I said, I didn't find it.
I'm still bugged by it. Clearly,
I was more focused, I guess, on the Jamie story.
I spent over fucking 72 hours of these episodes doing this. This is not fucking not having this. All right, I'm sorry.
No,
Rant over. I'm sorry,
I-
Christina.
No, no,
that was
I'm-
me.
I'm on
That was
your
me
side.
going
If
on.
they had enough time, they probably would have had something where they would have done like a
Right in
fucking
the
public,
face.
public
They had
hanging
enough
and
time.
a fucking.
What
No, they
time?
didn't. They didn't. They
This
had
isn't
one
real
more season.
time. This isn't real life. Like they could have chose anything to
Wait,
film.
when the right, okay, right when the fuck, what were they gonna do? There was nobody around the fucking middle of the. They actually made you think she was gonna get out.
Anybody
But
someone
see,
should have
that-
killed
this
her.
is-
Someone
this
should have
is what I'm
killed her.
saying.
Is what I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying about the Arya thing, because they give the illusion that she left. Yeah, she left, right?
Yeah.
But then I don't know. This is my own, like, that this is one way that I think they could have done it and it would have been fantastic. Added another twist to the thing. I think all the Game of Thrones fans would have been like, okay, redeeming quality for this episode, for the season, because a lot of people up to this point were really disappointed with like how the season was going and was hoping for like something better. Anyways, I know you have
alright.
a few scenes to.
No, it's just that one final scene here, but yeah, we'll wrap up. But yeah, that's all I had to say. I'm sorry. Like it's just, yeah, it just was not satisfying for me.
Okay, so then Nico,
I
how would
understand.
you have preferred them to die? Like, since we have
I-
one more scene and we
I
have a
like
little bit of time to dissect.
I like what you said. I actually really like the Arya thing. Obviously you could have went to the Daenerys getting a hold of her, but maybe that'd be too easy and expected. So I'm fine with doing something else. Like, I just think
Maybe
somebody,
everything is too easy and expected, bro.
listen.
That's why they did it that way.
No, but somebody should have taken her out. I don't
Yeah.
care who. I mean, that's what I mean. I haven't really given that much thought. I really like what your idea was. The completely satisfying thing would be that if Jamie dies not getting any redemption, also having done a lot of fucking horrible things. Okay, I'm ready to accept that, as much as I wish it ended better for him. Bleeding out on his way to save her, being unable to save her, that's a satisfying end for Jamie, honestly. And I just don't feel like they also deserve to be together in those final moments, because for some people that's a sweet, like, oh look, they're eternally together in death or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's bullshit.
Yeah, they grew together, they were born together, they lived
Right.
together, they loved together, they did everything
This
together.
is
But
not a sweet show by
They had to
any
die
fucking
together.
means. Yeah, but it's just like, this is not a sweet show. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I just
It
think,
can be sometimes, man.
listen, the good thing would have been Arya. If you're not going to go with the obvious, Daenerys actually taking her out, because maybe she didn't deserve to after everything she did to the city and all these people, right?
Yeah.
She could have even just been taken out randomly by like some person, some fucking random person
Sniper.
from the town that she wronged somehow. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that have been fun if something came back to bite her in the ass, like some small fucking detail of someone she screwed over like 3 seasons ago or something? That would have been awesome. That's what I mean. Like, anything like that would have been better than fucking this. Honestly, this is just, I just felt it was stolen from us. Yeah, okay.
I get it. I understand it. I understand how you can find it was
unsatisfying. It was very
Especially
unsatisfying.
if you've been watching it for like that long.
This is like the blue balls of fucking deaths right here. Like, no, it really is, like, in a show. Like, it's just like, really, you're gonna fucking, you're gonna bring me to this fucking point and like just walk away. All right, that's it. I'm done on that note.
The
All right.
blue balls of death. That was the best. I've never heard something like that.
Mhm.
Well,
That was good, buddy.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else on this? You know?
No, man, I
Okay.
was, you know, I knew they were gonna die somehow. I wouldn't care. I didn't care really how they died. Those two.
All
I want
right.
to see
I'm
what the
glad that
fucking.
you're
I
accepting
wanna
this.
see what
Then
the
buckle
story
in
is.
for the last episode. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, then I'm gonna go on the rant next.
Next tonight, Nico's gonna get a fucking text. Why did I watch this so early? I'm gonna get. Why the fuck did I watch this so soon?
We got
now?
2 weeks before the next recording.
Yeah,
Space it out.
Space it out.
Or watch it more than once, obviously. You usually do. I
Yeah.
know. Arya wakes later and sees the devastation around her. She looks and sees that the mother and daughter were burned alive. She stumbles around the city and sees the dead bodies of many innocent men, women, and children, all
I
at the
thought
hands
she
of her
burned.
cousin's lover. She then spots a white horse among the throes of the dead. She goes up to it and is able to calm it before mounting the horse, riding out of the city to an uncertain future, leaving the devastation of King's Landing behind her in what has become an unrequited order fulfilled. The last words of the Mad King: burn them all, coming to life as his daughter's hand as King's Landing burns. And then you get like an artistic horse in the ash.
Fucking where did I tree you? That's a tree you from fucking.
It does look like that.
All of a sudden he came back from the fucking mud.
Never ending story.
Yeah, from Never Ending Story. He came up from the swamp. Remember, he was sinking in the mud. Yeah, he came back and now he's there for Arya. Like, how the fuck, out of all that devastation, is there a calm ass horse standing right there?
I wrote it.
That's where I'm mad.
So here, so I put, they did like a artistically, like the horse in the ash was a beautifully captured shot amongst all the chaos and ugliness of war. That's what I wrote down.
Well, I saw this somewhere, and this is not my own thought. This is not whatever. No, so back in season 4, she rides a white horse when she's like solo and independent, when she's like on her own journey. So I think it's like a full circle moment for her character. It symbolizes her life, her freedom, her family, and like her choosing herself over everything else that's happening. So I think it's like, yeah, I know it's more of an artistic take than this is what I've read. It's more of an artistic take than what it than a literal take. Of course, it's like, oh, how is there a horse? Yeah, okay, I get it. But you know, like it's more like the symbolism versus.
Well, I thought that's what I took it as, like the beauty and fucking ugliness all at the same time of war. Like, look at this beautiful creature amongst all the chaos and destruction of this war and everything else, right? Like that's what I took it as. Like
the last few of these scenes, you know, there's ash falling. Everywhere. Like she's choking on it, right? Like they're all choking on it. It's covered everything, you know. And if you think back when Daenerys had that vision when she was in the House of Mysteries or something.
Oh, the House of the Dead or whatever.
Right. And she had her vision when she walked through the door, and she had.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and she had like that vision where she walked into the Red Keep, like she was in the throne room, and what we thought was snow turns out to be ash, and she's in there, and like it looks like it's all broken down, disrupted.
How about fucking that? Yeah, I never even thought about that. Oh,
and so, like that's why people are so pissed that she burned the fucking city down. But they've been planning this since season fucking 3.
Yeah,
like
they were planting the seeds this whole time. Yeah, they've been planting the seeds the whole time. Well, that's what I think about how stupid are we all about not seeing about the foreshadowing of literally everybody every season being like, oh, your father was a mad king. He's a mad king, you know, like
mad king.
You get lost in the other stories too.
You do, but that's what I mean. I think that's why they did it well. But like you're right. You could easily take that as like, oh, what the fuck is this? This came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, and the vision, like, you know, the vision she had of herself standing in the throne room that we thought was snow and whatever, like that was written in a book that George wrote. So, you know, when I went back earlier this episode, like earlier in this recording, like to say, you know, they obviously got direction from him. Maybe this is how he intended it to be. Right. And we're just pissed at it. And, you know, because he also says, like, if you're looking for a happy ending with this, it's like you haven't been paying attention.
Yes.
And it's true. Look at us. We're talking about this. We were all pissed. We were all up in arms like the first time we watched this.
Yeah, I mean, again, okay, I'll get over myself with the other thing, but yeah, everything else, like honestly though, like that is the one thing that's the only thing that's bothered me so far we have the finale still, but that's the only thing I really disagree in is that ending of the characters. And that's just maybe my personal opinion. Maybe that it was a choice they made, right? Like, and obviously you weren't as bothered by it. So I don't know. I just, that's the only thing that's bugged me so far.
Why I wasn't bothered by, because like you said, I mean, it doesn't have any. They don't care about us. They're doing it for they've never cared about our feelings of this show, and like you guys have told me since day one, and everybody's told me since day one. So
yeah,
I don't expect too much in a feeling type of way, because I'm not in that sense.
Well,
so I'm not getting too emotionally attached to that part of it,
what,
because I want to see what the storyline is.
Right.
And
there's still a lot more to go here in the last show episode. Yeah, absolutely. But
like I said, she died, which regardless if she died in a shitty way or the way you guys didn't like, they don't care.
Yeah,
they finished it.
So okay, I'll just finish my point about that. Like with this though, I'll say this, that if that's the feeling that they wanted us to experience and that was intentional, then I respect it. If that's like they wanted you to be feel robbed by this perfect kind of takeout of Cersei because we've been working towards this whole time, and she loses, yet she's able to run off and like end her like own life as a result of what happened, then yeah, okay. If that was the intentions, then okay, I'll respect it. I don't have to like it, but I can respect if that's what they were going for, if that is what they were going for with that. There's been lots of deaths on shows that aren't the pitch perfect death you would expect, or storylines for that matter. But then I've heard writers turn around and be like, hey, listen, that's life. Not everything fucking works out perfectly, like some fucking crescendo of like a storyline where everything has to fall into place, and some people think that's like corny when that shit happens, because they're like, that's not realistic, right? Like this guy
watched a lot of corny TV.
They could have fucking been walking down the street and got hit by a car. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and then you're like, oh, that guy was the best character. Like I remember they did that. This is going off topic. Another show, The Wire. There was a character on the show, Omar. He got killed by this fucking little kid on the show. And there's spoiling it for you, Jay. You're never going to revisit that show, so I don't give a fuck. I really love that show, but he was one of the best characters. No, I'll tell you. I'll just quickly say this. Have you ever seen that show, Christina, The Wire?
I've watched like season 1 years and years ago, but like, yeah, it's been like.
So there was a character on it that was one of the most popular characters, and he got killed because the one thing that character stood for is that he wouldn't do shit to people that weren't involved in the game, like crime and all that, like in the streets, like and a kid snuck up on him literally in like a very low-key fucking scene where he's just buying something from the store and shoots them in the back of the head, and that's the end of that character. And it was one of the biggest fucking characters and shocks of his death on the show ever. And the reason that happened is because he didn't pay attention to fucking kids, because he knew that they weren't a part of whatever he was part of, and that's the unsuspecting death that happened. And a lot of people were unsatisfied by that, because they're like, how could everybody he was up against on that show, a kid fucking kills him out of all fucking people because somebody fucking gave him a gun and told him to go kill this guy, right? But that's what I mean. It was very unsatisfying to a lot of people, but it made sense because everything that character kind of stood against, like it kind of came back and fucking bite him in the ass, right? Like it's kind of so that's what I mean. Like it's things like that. Like I think that like I get it. If that was the intention, I can accept it, but I don't think that was. I think it was just a poorly made decision, like in story point. Like, and maybe is that George R. Martin? I don't know, but I think it's bad.
Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's just the people that wrote it for the season to finish it off, like you said.
That's true,
right? You said it was a lot of shitty directors and stuff,
and not to have them in the last episode. That's fucking weird too. I know that they don't play that way, Game of Thrones, because they never do. Like these deaths come out of nowhere.
I mean, there was a lot of people in this episode you don't see that are still around, right? And we don't know what's going on.
That's true.
So I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true.
That threw me off.
Okay, well, that's again my second. Sorry, guys. All right, so we went as long as I expected on this episode, because the second fucking last episode, and really great discussion all around. Honestly, great points made, guys. I hope you liked this as much as I did, because I sure did. Sorry for ranting these last 15 minutes about that. All right, so buckle in, guys, for the finale. We're going to be recording that. Wow. It's going to be coming out the week after this airs, but by the time we record, it'll be a couple weeks from now, and we're going to give us some time to actually, soak it all in, watch it, Jay, multiple times, I'm sure. And
people are getting texts from me tonight.
And prep for Christina's rants, as she had mentioned. If you guys want to listen to the original rants, episodes 15 and 16 of Late Night Chat in the playlist, guys, to go back and listen to those before we record.
Go back and listen right now, just because I need to get prepared.
Pre Christina, pre Christina being a mom and all that. That was a long time ago. 5 years. Fuck.
Yeah. Make sure there's no comments made in it that we can get us canceled.
I'm sure there are.
I've
Honestly,
made enough comments that would get us canceled.
Enough.
Don't worry, we're good, guys.
But yeah, any final words? Anything else you want to say about this before we wrap up, Jay?
Like I said, I watched a lot of corny TV, and this is ending off like a corny episode. So I want to see what the last episode's like. I still feel like what's his name? My buddy there in the wheelchair is gonna have some big part to do with it. I don't know why.
He was texting me the other day. I still think there's more story to tell of Bran. Where was he this episode?
He was sitting by the tree.
I'm like,
watching it all.
I don't understand it. I'm like, why do you like this guy so much?
Feel bad for him, man. He was robbed of his life by that asshole Jamie. Had a rock fall on him. Fuck him. No.
Christina, anything else on that? All right.
Because she's gonna get into the last.
I want to give a special shout out to Christina once again there, aka Dracarys, aka Lady Christina here, for joining us once again as our super fan here of this episode. And we really look forward to you joining us in the last episode. And make sure to go back and check out this whole last season, guys. If you've missed it, Christina's been joining us for this whole last season.
Oh, for sure.
And many episodes across seasons 3 to 5. I'd say she was on a bunch there too, so you can always check those out. Any last words there? Christina?
I'm just looking forward to this ending, to starting. You know what? Maybe Jay will have more to say with the House of the Dragon. Maybe the conversations will be more like,
Well,
like,
you know
'cause
what it is.
we're gonna watch it live. Record it
But-
live. Like,
The thing is with with this one, I went through it in a year. We went through it in about a year's time, right? This is easy, a whole season. So you don't really get attached to it. Next week, like I said, we've talked about this. Next one, I'm attached to it.
He loves House of the Dragon. Yeah, that's the whole reason that
I'm
we
attached
did.
to it in a different
The
way
whole-
because it's week by week.
The whole reason we did this show is because he fucking loved House of the Dragon, because he
Excellent.
never
So we'll-
watched
different
it.
feeling.
we'll record House of the Dragon now, and then in 5 years we'll revisit it.
Fuck on.
So yeah, there you
Anyway,
go.
my
We're gonna-
second
No,
time.
I've been having a blast doing these recordings. I'm bittersweet,
thank
kind of
you.
sad. This is like, the second last one, but it's okay.
We got House of the Dragon to look forward to. So you're
House of
welcome
the
to join us
Dragon,
for those.
so-
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
joining us
and
once
live
again.
Yeah.
follow-ups afterwards,
And,
after 2 days after. whatever.
And before this airing ends right now, this stream, a rock's gonna fall on our heads right here. So I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Thank you.
And this head will save me.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing fucking breaks this. Look at it. It's like a fucking dome.